So imagine an 18 stone life. I've been in jail for about easy 15 years, big tattoos, bald head scars, very rough voice, and there's a 5 foot, maybe 8, slim Jamaican, fresh to the country, straight in jail, probably spent about a year in London, went to jail. Anyway, so this northerner
said, I'm not going to pay you. He goes, look at you, I'm a lifer, you're fresh to this country.
Told them basically to go away, Now what happens in prison, because it's a small environment, you have to save face, meaning if somebody boys you off, if somebody mugs you up, if someone puts you down and you allow it, everyone then will see you as a victim. So the poor guy, he's thinking, well, I can't hand to hand go to war with this guy. Even if I stabbed him, the knife would probably bend. This guy, I'm telling you, this guy was a unit. I'm telling you, he'd probably say, "Stab me again, mate." Out of all the sentences, so I've had different sentences for drugs, for robbery, for burglary, for fraud. I've been in jail for armed robbery on a drug dealer, but I was on remand and I beat the case. So all in all of it together, after 6.5 years, I've probably been to jail. Oh man, probably over 10 times.
Every story has a spark of inspiration. I am Orlando, your host. Welcome to What's Your Story? Today with me, we have our special guest, man. A man, I don't know how to describe it, honestly, but I know you will share the information with our viewers. However, we normally introduce person by name and so forth. But when we were preparing for this interview, is that a member of our team suggested that, hey, I should read this introduction for you. So I'm going to take the time out just to read what my team prepared as it pertains to your introduction. All right.
Thank you.
Great. So our guest today is a living example of what it means to transform pain into purpose. Raised in a loving family and guided by strong values, his journey has taken him through some of life's darkest challenges, including crime, addiction, prison, anxiety, depression, and even a period where he was unable to speak for 8 months. Despite experiences both success and setbacks, working in the banking, sales, and running successful businesses, he found himself battling personal struggles for many years. However, a powerful turning point came when he shared his story in church, inspiring the creation of what is now Metamorphosis.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Unlocking your superpower. Today, he is the founder of an organization dedicated to helping others unlocking their potential through mentoring, youth hubs, inspirational speaking, and his accredited program. Well done. The accredited program is known as the Unlocking Your Superpowers. His remarkable story has seen him featured on radio, in film, on stage, and performing at the Royal Albert in central London. Nice. He also collaborates with organizations such as Wickham Youth Action, Youth Offending Team, Action for Youth, Buckingham Youth Club, and Buckinghamshire County Council. Nice having you today, man.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to What's Your Story, Mr. Matthew Morris.
Yes. I feel honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Great. The thing is that my team, they said I should just read that out because they don't want me to miss anything as it pertains to your bio. And it's the reason why I take the time out to read that. All right.
Thank you.
Nice having you today, man. I know you're a busy man and you actually made the time here today, so we appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. But before we even dive into What's Your Story, is that we have a segment which is called the What, Why, where it's basically a question that our previous guests leave for incoming guests to answer.
That's right.
And what's interesting about it is that the topic that the previous guest has left is one that you're familiar with.
I know.
Definitely.
Yeah,
it's actually.
I thought it was a setup, but yeah, it works, man.
Yeah, because they actually leave the topic was actually on young people rather, and today's world. You get me? And the first question that they have it's a what question is, if you could change one thing about the world today to improve the lives of young people, what would it be? and why. Don't need to stress about it.
No, I got okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
can you answer that question, please? Are you want me to go again?
No, I can actually. Wait, because I want to make sure I say the right thing. So I would say that the world needs to implement hobbies. Everyone should have a hobby. And why do I say that? Because when you have a hobby, that creates pleasure. Yeah, it creates relaxation. Okay,
Yes.
and it's a distraction from the norm. Yeah. So if everybody had some type of hobby, some type of game, not just sitting on computer and scrolling, something like an activity. Yeah. It could even be chess. It could be going to the gym. It could be, crosswords. Just something that takes you away from all the distraction from TV, social media, Netflix. Yeah. To find your little space. It's peace. Yeah.
I get it.
And not only that, sorry, because now you get my juices flowing, man. But not only with that, a lot of these hobbies that people do, it creates a social sort of aspect to it. So it creates, somebody rather than being indoors just on their phone doing rubbish, they're now going out. They're part of a football team. It creates teamwork. It creates relationships. It grounds you. And creates discipline. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Because once I get going, that's
that's okay.
I get excited.
Well, it's good that you can share this information, and you see, you're actually enthused about sharing this information because it's your field. So the questions definitely was prepared for you. As I see, these are for you.
Yeah.
I know you're gonna give us some great answers, man. And the why question is that why do you think many young people feel they have fewer opportunities today, despite having more access to technology, education, and information than previous generations?
Yeah. That one's quite easy, and I would definitely say it's a cost of living, and you see these people driving these big fancy cars, and you think, wow, I wish I had their money, but that car's probably on HP. They're probably struggling just like the person in a council flat. The cost of living has gone so high that people can't always pay for their children to go into out of school curricular activities.
I get you.
That's what I think it is. It's the money situation.
I get you. Appreciate that answer as well. And the whole question is that how has social media influenced the lives of young people today, and what can they do to use it in a more positive way?
That's easy, man. Again, sorry, not being
that's okay.
Yeah, it's not about being cocky or nothing, but what I think is there's a lot of peer pressure. So a young boy, for instance, he will see all these muscly guys, on YouTube and Insta. I want to be like him. Or they'll see a drill artist or a rap artist. I want to be like him. It's the peer pressure. They lose themselves. Instead of just going back home, go back to the drawing board. Who is Tommy? Who is Mikey? There's too much peer pressure. And then for the females, they all want to look beautiful. The fake eyelashes, the implants, the collagen, the lips. It's too much going on for their little heads. They should be going out playing in the field and building camps in parks and being part of a little community team. So what could they do to make it more beneficial for them? I think the internet's not a bad thing if you use it correctly. So let's just say your child's suffering with autism, or you've been through like a real serious traumatic incident. There's professional people on there that you could actually look up how to deal with autism, or listen to a guy who's got a podcast who's autistic. Oh, so I'm not just a little nobody. I could be like him. Something that's inspiring, something that's gonna motivate them. There's apps you can download, which is educational. So that's what they need, just something to sort of distract them and use it to benefit them. Rather than use it as peer pressure.
Definitely, I understand. And while these questions were actually sent over by our previous guest, I must say that we did a bit of research as well. And while we're doing the research, a member of my team, because it's a team of 4, yes, we're working together, and a member of our team sent over some information, and he said, hey, Orlando, I want for you to read this to the public as well, and not to mention to our guest. And the thing that the person sent is that she said, one thing I have learned through my own journey is that your circumstances don't define your future. Whether you struggle with mistakes, mental health, family issues, or setbacks, your story isn't finished. Every day is an opportunity to make a different choice and becoming a better version of yourself. So I did share the information as well. So that's very good.
Yeah.
But Now we're gonna move forward as it pertains to what your story. And the question that I have for you is, who is Matthew Morris?
Beautiful question, you know, because part of my course, the first agenda that I deal with, I speak to the individuals and I say, who are they? And it normally stumps people, because if you say to someone, who are you? You're like, I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, some people come out, oh, I'm kind, I'm loving. Some people say, you know, I'm a father of two, or this and that. So to answer your question, it took me a little while for me to find my purpose in life. It took me a little while to know who I am. But right now, I believe that I'm a positive vessel for God, to help people to understand themselves, to find their true meaning in life, and to find their purpose.
Okay, well done. Because we did our research as well. You get me? Because, you know, as an interviewer, and we have guests on our shows, that we have to do the checks and ensure that everything is actually okay as it pertains to the person that we're interviewing. Who is this person? How is it beneficial to the program? Does he have a story? And oh my God, that's the reason why we had to read your your introduction to the public as well, because your story is fascinating, man, and it shows change, and it's a proven walking gospel as well. Definitely, we like your story, and I know that the viewers will definitely appreciate it as well. But I want one for you. Let me just take a step back, because you're a Jamaican, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was life like growing up in Jamaica? Did you grow in Jamaica?
No, so mum and dad left Jamaica in the 60s, and they came over to this country and to create a better lifestyle for themselves and their children. So none of us was born over here. When I say us, I've got 5 sisters and I've got a brother. So we're all born in this country.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're all born in this country.
Yeah, we were all born here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as it pertains to your childhood growing up in this country, what was your childhood like?
To be honest with you, it's beautiful, man. Quite strict at times, you know, but I understand now the strictness was to protect us, was to keep us grounded and not to let us run wild, you know. For the love, mum and dad always made sure we left the house hair clean, clothes pressed and ironed, you know, belly full, you know. And you know, it was always a case that, you know, dad was always working, you know, worked so hard, and mum was sort of like the proper, you know, mum at home and done the cooking, washing, and old school, you know.
I get
So
you.
there was a lot of love. There was a lot of playful times with my sisters. You know, obviously you had the odd argument, you know.
Yeah.
But it was nice growing up. I remember my childhood wasn't a horrible one, you know. Went through primary school, you know, got bullied once, and I remember dad saying to me, he goes, son, he goes, you can live like a lion for one day or live like a sheep for the rest of your life. And I didn't get it, you know. And I had to go to bed, and I pondered. I thought, you haven't got to be a horrible person. If you're getting bullied, if someone's trying to put you down, defend yourself once, be that lion once, just to let them know, look, I'm not that guy to play around with. So I'm not glamorizing any sort of violence, but I'm just letting the viewers know that, you know, I was bullied maybe for 3-4 days at school, primary school. And all I done, you know, I had a belt, and I took my belt off and I swung it around these 4 boys. That's all I did. Didn't even hit them, and went to hit them, and it's just, you know, bouncing around. And after that day, we become good friends. So that was the only time I sort of had any sort of friction at school. Secondary school was lovely. You know, I excelled in, you know, creative writing, art and design, and all types of sports.
Great. So you're what sports is your sport?
So it was athletics, it was basketball, it was football, it was rounders, cricket. I was just that sporty guy. Anything to do with a ball or running, I was involved.
It's a culture, man.
Yeah,
it's a culture.
Even swimming. Let's see how black men can't swim, but I love swimming as well.
Oh, nice. Nice. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
So that was your story growing up, and you grew up in the UK, as you mentioned. But not to mention as well is that when, as a young man, what was your ambition? What did you want to become?
I wanted to be a graphic designer. I love drawing. I could draw anything. You know, I was so creative. I remember growing up, and sometimes it was tough. Sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. Imagine 5 kids. Well, no, I had 5 sisters and a brother. So sometimes, you know, there wasn't always the tools to use. So I remember I used to draw on the back of you know, like the cereal boxes, the cornflakes or the Rice Krispies. Well, as soon as it was finished, I'd tear up the back, and it's plain bit. You know, the inside of the box, it'll be plain. So I draw on the inside of that. Sometimes draw on the wall. Dad would get upset, you know. But
Typical kids, right?
Yeah, graphic designer. Yeah.
Okay, graphic designer. But what changes that? Why you're not a graphic designer today?
What changed is because I wanted to see the world.
Oh, went to see
It's
the
that
world.
simple. It's that simple. Yeah.
Went to see the world. What do you mean?
Okay, so growing up in when I say it was strict, it was a sheltered background. Yeah, so
Okay.
sometimes I wasn't always allowed to go and play on the next estate. Mum and dad knew why, and I love them to bits for now, like right now and always, because they did that out of protection. At the time,
Okay.
thinking they don't love me, Mum. Please, can I go and play? You know, I was part of a football team, out of school curricular football team, and it was we played games every Sunday.
Yeah.
And obviously, I had church on a Sunday. You know, Mum and dad being of a Christian background, so I wasn't allowed to play on a Sunday. It would be the odd Sunday when dad allowed it, you know. So it was yeah, it was that sort of upbringing where I couldn't wait to get old, where I could just, that's what I mean, I wanted to see the world, yeah, leave home and, you know, explore those things which I wasn't allowed to explore.
Oh, I see.
You know, I was, you know, don't get it twisted, you know, there were some parts I could go to and, you know, Mum would say, go and, you know, make sure you're back before your father. And
yeah,
you know,
it's parents, man.
Yeah.
That's how everyone, I think, goes through that stage, the protective parents, and so they don't
Yeah.
want you to just go out and get in any trouble or anything like that. So I definitely understand that, and we're taking it step by step right now. But next step that we're gonna take it to is, when did life change?
Yeah. It catapulted so when I left college, I qualified with a BTEC in graphic design, and ideally I should have gone on to university to do a further 3 years. And if I had done that, I wouldn't be here today. I'll probably be working at some top, you know, graphic design company. That was my ambition.
Okay.
So when I passed at 18, I said, well, I'm going to take a year out. I took a year out, and guess what I started doing? I was playing with those kids on the other estate. I was going to those late night parties, and
Okay.
I was experiencing the world.
Oh.
So that's when it changed, and that's when I started to explore, you know, girls. Well, girls was before that, but I'm talking like more serious relationships, drugs, drink, you know, proper late night parties, clubs, going to London, Liverpool. You know, I started to really think, yeah, I'm 18 now. I'm a grown man, mum and dad. You know, I want to see life. So that's when it changed. It catapulted. You know, when I done all the schooling, I got my qualifications. I said, right, let me live now.
Okay, so you were living the life.
So I thought.
Oh, you thought you were living the life.
Yeah.
Because you have spoken openly about drugs and stuff like that. You spoke on different shows and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the reason why I even asked that question, is that when life took a turn, and you mentioned it was actually in college when all of that actually happened. But in those time when you were going through all of that, what were you thinking about? What were you thinking about?
I was thinking about just enjoying life, you know. College, so you're hanging about with people that are older than you now, you know, people that are sort of involved in more older sort of things, should I say. Yeah, remember you start college in this kind of 16 to 18. So when I started at 16, there was 21-year-olds there, 23-year-olds there. So some of them are driving. So I was to be like them. They were sort of like a bit like a role model. And I'm seeing them with nice cars and, you know, girls and nice clothes. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why my vigor for life involves a lot of peer pressure. I teach the kids about peer pressure because that is a dangerous thing.
Definitely
That
dangerous thing.
Oh man, yeah.
So you were chasing basically the quick life, quick cash, not to mention the luxury lifestyle. You wanted those stuff because that's what you've been exposed to in college. So those are the things that you wanted. But at any point, did you feel not having those stuff, you have felt like left out or anything like that?
Yeah, slightly. You know, slightly you do feel a bit oh, I'm not good enough for that group, or, you know, I don't look as good enough or cool enough to be in that group. Yeah, of course you do. You know, because you want to look like them. You want to have the designers and the clothes and the certain haircuts. You know, I remember being young, I wasn't allowed lines in my head, and some of the kids were having all these, you know, pretty intricate, you know, tram lines and you know, patterns. So yeah, I was playing catch up. You know what? That's exactly what I was doing. I was playing catch up. You know, and that wasn't out of disrespect for mum and dad or holding any sort of resentment. You know, I just wanted to you know what it is? I just wanted to see both sides of the fence.
Both sides of the fence. I get it. That's definitely good. It happens to a lot of younger people, to be honest with you. Most persons, they go through this phase in life where they're all for the flashy stuff and stuff like that. So I don't know, but it's the norm. If you actually do the checks, because I'm a man of statistics, get me? So if you do the checks, it will show about 80% of young people go through that specific phase in life. to be honest with you. But what I want to know is that when you were going through this specific phase, is there a case whereby you think that this was the right thing, or is there any moment?
Nah. Sorry to cut you. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
No, I fully get what you mean, and I know exactly where that question is going. So, because obviously, mum and dad, blessed parents, man, they always taught us right from wrong. So I knew, all right, if we're gonna take it there. So, I started probably smoking cannabis, school youth clubs, like 15, 16. Got drunk about 16 years old. Yeah, didn't like it. Didn't like the hangover, but I was just doing it to fit in.
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure. See, that's a massive subject that I teach the kids of today. And then at college, I was smoking cannabis all the way through college. Then getting drunk every now and then. Sometimes, it was I knew it was wrong. All right. Again, it wasn't to get back at mum and dad. I just wanted to be in with that group, and you got to find yourself. That's what it is. Sometimes I was a chameleon. I'd be with the rude boys, or the street boys, yeah. And then other times I'm with the nerds. I want to learn how to do technical stuff. And then there's other times I'm with the hip hop boys, the skaters. I was like a proper chameleon. I was blending. But guess what happens when you blend? You lose yourself, because one minute you're chatting like, "You right, mate?" You're chatting like with all the boys and the drinkers, and then it's like, "What, my brother?" And because you're with the rude boys, and so I'm thinking, when I go to a certain situation, I'm like, "Who am I? Who am I today? What am I going to be talking like?" And I get caught off guard sometimes, because I tell you a funny one, because I was working in sales, and when you work in sales, obviously I put on a good voice, because you can't be talking street.
Yeah, definitely.
It was lunchtime. Imagine this: one of my bad boys phoned me, and straight away I went into bad boy mode. Like, "Well, go on, killer! What are you telling me?" And everyone looked at me thinking, "Matthew, is that?" I was like, "Oh, So what I'm trying to say is that it's like you're living a double life, a triple life. Yeah, I think it's accurate. They were just surprised that I spoke that way.
Yeah,
it was like lunchtime sort of thing. So, answering your question, I was in that sort of mode of trying to find myself. I knew right from wrong, but I was just doing it because I just wanted to see life. And then that's when crime started to trickle in, because I could see the boys making very good money, and I'm suited and booted every day, going to work. Back then, I remember it like yesterday. The minimum wage when I was 18, so 77, 87, 90, so 1995.
1995,
Yeah. All right. The minimum wage is 120 a week. Yeah, and that's for school.
£120, yeah.
£120, yeah. I was getting that a week in sales, yeah. And the cost of living was so low back then that 120 was decent. Yeah, I didn't have my own place. I give mum and dad a little bit of rent, but I can still go out and party and buy a few clothes and whatever. But then the boys on the other estate, I'm thinking, let's let them go to work. There's me getting bus, and they're driving these XR2Is and RS Turbos. I'm thinking, what am I doing wrong? And then, sorry, I go off on a tangent because I get passionate about this.
No, you speak, man. Oh, that's okay, man.
Okay, and I found that they were stealing cars. So anything I talk about, all the viewers need to know. All right, that whenever I mention crime and anything like that, it's not to glamorize it. I'm just letting individuals know this was a part of my life which I was just wrapped up in, and it was some very dark moments, but we'll get there. We'll get to them points. So stealing cars, and back then I was getting £500 per car. So if we got 3 cars that night, 1,500, very quick money. And then I'm going home late at night. Again, we're going to talk about warning signs that parents need to pick up on. And mum and dad used to see me coming in, and I'm not working now, but I'm making more money. And I'm buying more expensive clothes. They knew, but because of their unconditional love for me, they're giving me so many chances, saying, "Look, we don't want your money." They stopped taking my rent because it's dirty money. I said, "No, you keep your money now. You keep it." So, I got arrested for car theft and street robbery.
And what age was that?
I was 20. I spent my 21st birthday in prison in young offenders, and that's when my eyes really opened up. Oh my days! When they say to you that prison can make you or break you, I'm being so real with you. That is a massive phrase.
Age 20.
Age 20, I got 3 months, had to do 6 weeks. I spent my 21st, imagine that, my 21st birthday in prison. Yeah.
Wow. But in this case as well, because we have young people in same similar situation. So basically it's a road that they're crossing in this stage in life. But what message would you actually send to these young people in the same age group within the 16 to 20s, going through college life, wanting to have those fancy stuff and stuff. What message would you send to those persons?
It's so simple. There's no longevity, okay, in making quick money. Okay, you might be king for the day or for a year or for, you know, some guys, you know, they're up there making all this dirty money for years, but eventually a karma will come back around, it will bite you. You know, I've seen people who's gone clear, you know, living in Spain, all of a sudden, you know, they're in jail, you know, in their 50s or, you know. So I would say to people, look, all these drill videos or whatever videos you're watching where they glamorize it, and some of these, listen, I'm not here to, you know, put nobody down, you know, that's not my job. All right, but I'm just saying from my lived experience, you asked me a question, I would not push them into making dirty money because karma exists. All right,
you believe in karma, right?
100%. Yeah, karma is real. You know, you either go to prison, you will either get robbed, you know, police will take all your stuff, confiscation order, you know, and you lose your family, lose friends. So I would say to stick in school. Everyone's got a purpose. Everyone's got at least one quality they can use to find success, to find peace. Yeah, definitely. That's what I tell them straight. You know, when I'm with the boys at the youth hub that I run, you know, and they like my prison stories because they think it's really, and you can see they get really excitable. But then I bring them back down to earth. I said, look, but at the end of it, I said, look at the scars on my belly. Look at the scar on my face. You know, look at, you know, what happens when you're in that lifestyle. I tell them the real grit. You know, I see a man's face get burned off with oil, hot oil in jail. His whole face peeled off.
Yeah, because I always hear about these stories in prison and so forth. And I always wonder if they're true, because sometimes even when you're watching the documentaries and you see person dying in prison, and those stuff are real, right?
Yeah, man. That was the worst thing I saw. And he was a northerner. He's a lifer. And when I say, oh, sorry, northerner, all right. So he's from Scotland. He had a real Glaswegian, all right, mate. Like really, he looked like a hardened con. So I can't do accents, sorry. Yeah, real gruff face. You can see the wear and tear in his face. He had scars, bald head, tattoos everywhere, big size. And he was scary to look at. You know, I was in the Mount prison, HMP the Mount in Bomingdon, yeah, Hemel Hempstead. I'd done a year in that jail. Anyway, so cut long story short, he had a drug problem in there. He was buying heroin, and funny enough, you know, ironically enough, it was a Jamaican lad who was only about 7 stone, really slim, but he had access to getting heroin in. I think he had one of the officers bringing it in for him. So he was selling and he was making his illegal money and getting away with it. Cool. That was the way he did his sentence. And this big northerner built up, I think, was a big tit list with him. And because he saw the size, of this guy, this little Jamaican, it's not about colour and nothing like that. I'm just trying, this is a real story. So I'm just trying to make it a very visual thing for people. So imagine an 18 stone life. I've been in jail for about easy 15 years, big tattoos, bald head, scars, very rough voice. And there's a 5 foot, maybe 8, slim Jamaican, fresh to the country, straight in jail, probably spent about a year in London, went to jail. Anyway, so this northerner said, I'm not going to pay you. He goes, look at you. I'm a lifer. You're fresh to this country. Told them basically to go away. Now, what happens in prison, because it's a small environment, you have to save face. Meaning, if somebody boys you off, if somebody mugs you off, if someone puts you down and you allow it, everyone then will see you as a victim. So the poor guy, he's thinking, well, I can't hand to hand go to war with this guy. Even if I stabbed him, the knife would probably bend. This guy, I'm telling you, this guy was a unit. I'm telling you, he'd probably say, "Stab me again, mate." I've seen people who love pain. But so in the Mount, or it's a C category prison, they had kitchens on the wing. Let me fast forward. Kitchens on the wing. You can cook up your own food. You could buy your meat, your lamb, chicken, you know, on the canteen and cook up. You could buy your rice, and you can make some nice food in there. So Daffy was his name, Daffy, because they, you know, like Daffy Duck. Daffy Duck. He was dark skinned, slim. He went to the kitchen and he put some oil into a pan and he's heating on full fire, and it was so hot it was spitting. And everyone's like saying, if you put any meat in that, it's going to burn straight away. Daffy, what are you cooking? He goes, I'm going to cook up a man's face. And everyone said, please don't do it. He goes, nah, man. He goes, you know, if I don't do it, everyone will see me as a idiot, basically. So, cut a long story short, he went into the guy and he tipped over his face. His whole, when I see, people think it's a joke, but this slightly not traumatized me, but I had nightmares from this, man. I was like, year 2000, so 87, 90, I was like 23. And to see a whole man's face drip, his eyebrows come off, his eyelids, it was like a whole, it was pink raw, and it smelled of bacon, not being rude, but it smelled of like cooking meat. Yeah, dropped on it will bloop on the floor, and the scream, the scream was something else. Yeah, like a blood curdling. It was almost like out of this world sort of noise. Yeah, so I saw that. A man got abused in there, sexually abused in there by another lifer. It goes on, man. It goes on.
Well, when you say lifer, those are the persons that are serving life, right?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, they're serving life. Yeah.
So prison isn't a good place. We know that prison isn't a good place. It's nowhere that you want to go. How many times have you been in prison, by the way?
I've done 6.5 years altogether. I've probably
together. What you mean?
Altogether. So out of all the sentences, so I've got I've had different sentences for drugs, for robbery, for burglary, for fraud. I've been in jail for armed robbery on a drug dealer, but I was on remand and I beat the case. So all in all of it together, I've done 6.5 years. I've probably been to jail, oh man, probably over 10 times. Yeah. I'm not glamorizing it at all, but I'm not gonna have to be real as well with the viewers, because I did have some good times in there. No, I have to.
What do you mean, good times in jail?
So you go to the gym. Imagine you're part of a group now. So imagine it's like a youth club. So you get part of a group, maybe 6 lads. You go to the gym together. It's like going to the gym, walk down to the gym, we train together. You play AstroTurf football, indoor football, basketball. You go education. Now I was doing my art down there again. I got involved in creative writing. I won short story competition. So that's what I mean. It can be good if you use your time wisely. Yeah, learn how to play chess. Learn from the older people in there. Because everyone's got a bit of knowledge to tell you. It hasn't always got to be illegal or criminal. So in that way, I've got many of my certificates from in jail, because it's outside colleges that come in to the education center and they teach you, proper teachers. So in that respect, it was good. And then I have to be honest as well, I was dating one of my probation officers. Yeah.
In prison?
Seriously, yeah. She was in her 40s. Nah, this is not.
Okay.
Yeah. She was in her 40s, man. And I was like early 20s, and we were dating, and she brought a mobile phone into jail for me, and drugs, and that's what I'm trying to say to you. So in my young days, I was very, very sort of corrupt. I wasn't ready to change. So I was involved in the mobile phone scene. That's what I'm trying to say to the kids as well. I tell them the truth. I said, when I wasn't ready to change, I said, even though I went to prison, I said, I was dating everyone's saying she manipulated me because she's a big woman, fair enough. And then I admittedly manipulated her as well, because she could visit me on a legal visit, which is different. It's different to the social visits. So that way they don't get searched as hard. So that way I thought, yes, bring in drugs, mobile. And the lads knew about it, and I was making a bit of money in there at that particular time. But as I got older, that's when I started to use my time more wisely. And I cried in prison, man. Many a time cried in prison, because I'm thinking, what am I doing? I tell everyone, I'm not afraid to admit it. I show humility, I show vulnerability, I'm a grown man. Yeah, I cried bad a lot of times, because I'm thinking, what am I doing? I've lost respect for my family, the people I love. I ain't got a good missus no more. The people that want to be around me just want my money. You understand? That's when my mental health got really bad, but we'll get onto that. So I just went on a tangent just to tell you a bit about the highs and lows of prison, how it can make you or break you. And I went through the times of using prison to learn deeper crimes and to get involved in the drug culture and the phone culture. But then as I got older, I used my time wisely, hence why I got this business now. So it's not all doom and gloom. Yeah.
I definitely understand, man. I understand. So is it okay for me to call you Matty?
Yeah, you can call me Matty, yeah.
Okay, Matty. So you spoke about being in prison and cried a couple times and so forth, which persons always say, big man don't cry and stuff like that, Jamaican style, big man don't cry. However, we know that addiction, mental health, and survival are key things as it pertains to prison life. You get me? But when you read through your bio as well, and you spoken openly as well about anxiety, addiction, depressions, and stuff like that. Do you mind sharing, have you ever have like suicidal thoughts or anything
Yeah.
surrounding those stuff.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So when I became so again, I'm not going to glamorize it. So, there's a pecking order, in life, even at school, you get the top boys, the big sporty boys, and it goes down to, maybe the ones that are good at maths and the ones that, go down, the ones that are quiet. Then you get the top girls and that. So when I started making illegal money, when I was selling drugs, I hate saying it, man, it feels so bad, but when I was selling drugs, I was making a lot of money, and I had a couple of cars, and the clothes and the jewels. And I become a party boy, So every weekend, from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was out. Whether it's Liverpool, London, Manchester, Oxford, we was raving,
Raving.
So when I say party boy, I dabbled in all types of drugs, Molly, MDMA, trips, ecstasy, cocaine. Excuse me. And these are all uppers. This is what people don't understand. These are amphetamines, so they will bring your neurological brain to a high, a very high,
Okay.
Alcohol, and weed, they're depressants, so it'll bring it down. But because I was a party boy, I kept putting my brain up, 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 and then what happened is that one day, this is when I couldn't talk for 8 months.
You couldn't speak for 8 months. Yeah, I read that in the bio as well.
So this is where my anxiety, paranoia, and depression came in. So I couldn't talk for 8 months, and the things we take for granted, it's amazing. That's why I love God, because the one thing He took away from me to make me learn my lesson is the one thing I use now as my business, my voice. Doing my talks. Oh man, I get tingles.
Walking gospel, man.
When something gets taken away from you, that you take for granted, man, you feel it. I couldn't talk even to my mum and dad, because every word I tried to say, I trip over my tongue. My brain wasn't connecting with my vocal cords. I had to think of phrases and repeat it in my head so I wouldn't stutter. When we're going sometimes it comes back, but not in a bad way. When I used to go downstairs for dinner, at the family table, I have to repeat, right? Let me just say, hi, how is everyone? And I've just been tired. And even that will come out in a stutter. I couldn't actually put any words together, not one. Even my best friend, I wouldn't leave the house. I couldn't communicate. I had a big afro, because you go to a barbershop, it's a social event. I wouldn't even go get my hair cut because I was scared of chatting to people. My heart, in the minute, sometimes I go for a walk around the block, and if I see someone coming towards me, my heart's beating. Please don't talk to me. I'm looking down. I was up, man. When I say I was from being up there, this guy that sold drugs, that's what I mean about karma. All right. I used to walk with my head down. If it was raining, my hood hiding in my face.
At what age was this?
Oh man. This was after college. I've been in jail a couple of times. I think. Oh man, you know what? I think it must have been 22 or something.
Wow.
This is before I was dating the probation officer. I know that was 23.
Okay.
So I said, if I had to take a rough sort of guess, I'd say 22. And so I wouldn't leave the house, and full of paranoia, depression. My mum and dad were praying for me. They could see their son wasn't right, something had taken hold of him, and I wanted to kill myself, but I didn't know how. I'll be real with you, man. I just did not know how. Just didn't know. But those were the days before internet, so I couldn't go on the internet search for stuff. This is how far back we're going. Or if you did have internet, you needed money. So how did I get through it? Luckily, through them 8 months, because I kept my body clean and sober, it just worked itself. I think God as well. Differently.
God is real. I know God is real.
100%. I know there's people out there who might not believe. Okay, I'm not here to bat out religion on nobody or preach, but I'm just saying this is what helped me through. This is my story. So I believe through prayer, and that took me through it. And did that stop me from again troubling it later on in life? No, because I then realized I had an illness. And
what was this illness?
This illness is real, and it's when you have an addiction, it's an illness. It's known as SUD, substance usage disorder.
Okay.
So when you're a child, so I go to NA now. This is how I kept myself clean and sober. That's for everyone. This is apple juice, by the way.
Apple juice, definitely.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So what I'm trying to say is, there's some people that are born with this. It's a chronic illness. It's a recognized illness. So it's a habit of sort of being very impulsive and wanting that need to always search for that next high. And I remember, because now I go to NA and I go through something called the 12 steps. Sorry, this is very, very relevant. 12 steps being a program which is designed, it's tried and tested. It was it's called the Big Book, Alcohol Anonymous, right? And it takes you through, you know, making amendments. It takes you through being grateful. It takes you through vulnerability. It takes you through, you know, taking accountable, you know, being accountable for your actions. You know, it teaches you so much, and you know, it's a proper design for living. It helps people have that addiction. So I remember when I was young, I used to collect all these football stickers, but I didn't need them all. Yeah, I'm collecting all these like magic marker pens from when I was at college. But someone said, "Matt, you got over 100, you don't even need them." But something in me kept buying and wanting more. You know, I remember conkers. We used to like collect conkers and play. People would go after school, go to the horse chestnut tree, get pocketfuls. I'm getting like bagfuls. Yeah. So that was all part of it. And people who have this illness can resonate with me, you know, because when I go to meetings and people are talking, they're like, I couldn't understand it. But as I got older, then it turned to cigarettes. I always want more cigarettes and drugs, and then, you know, you understand it. So you, for instance, you don't have it. You can have that one drink, and I bet that'd be you for the night.
Definitely, that is
100%. And others in this room, yeah.
Yeah.
But if that was me, I'd be on my third glass by now. I'd want more, and then by then
addiction,
I want something else, yeah. So I thank God again, and I've watered down this addiction to the point now where I'm happy just waking up with a clean mind, having my voice back, you know, being able to be present and accountable for my family, you know. So through drugs, this is again why I teach the kids, you know, that it's a catalyst. Just having a cigarette is a catalyst because they get bored of that nicotine rush. Now they want something else. I was weed, and the weed ain't like it was back in the day. It's laced with poisons now. And then once they've done that, if that hasn't done their brain in, they'll move into higher stuff, and that's what's gonna really disorganize them, make them lose their brain, make them lose who they are. So so when I got my voice back, I went back into work. The thing that people need to understand is that because I was always battling with the good and the bad, mum and dad taught and raised us so well, you know, so I knew I had a good angel and I had a bad angel. So there's times I could go and work. I had a criminal record. I worked for Santander Bank. You know, I had a criminal record. I worked for a recruitment agency for doctors and nurses. Yeah, because I believed in myself. There was always something driving me saying, Matty, stop doing the drugs, or stop selling drugs, stop robbing people. Yeah. Turn good. So then when I am going good, I'm enjoying life again. But people with this illness, we suffer from something called good health, which means when you're doing good, you reward yourself. What do you reward yourself with? Go on the devil. Well, have one drink, you'll be all right. Have one cigarette, you'll be all right. So that's what I mean by you suffer from good health. So the paranoia, while we're on the subject of mental health, hope you don't mind me just
it's okay, man.
Expanding, yeah. So I battled, you know, with I didn't know I had an addictive personality at that particular time when, you know, I lost my voice. But when it came back, I went into work, full-time work, you know, and then suffering from good health, go and just go out with the man them, just make a bit more money. So then I was sort of flitting in between losing good jobs and then going back to crime. And then when I go back to crime, because now, you know, I'm getting older, you know, the neurological system of my brain's working different. So when I am playing with these drugs, I'm not getting paranoid. So now my mental health is saying to me, when I'm driving, is that police behind me? Or, you know, I'm moving all digi, you know? I'm thinking, does this guy like me or does she like my money? Is this really my friend or is he just using me? So that part of the mental health, the paranoia, the anxieties, you know, all that there, it just wasn't nice. And I lost myself so many times, you know, and I just didn't know who Matty was, you know. Do you understand? Which is why I think your question in the beginning, who am I? And I really do think I'm a positive vessel for God just to help other people, you know.
That's very good, man. The change, man, magnificent change. And I can see where you come up with this metamorphosis thing. Definitely. I did the research. And you mentioned about the suicidal thoughts. What exactly did you think about
I just, you know, I couldn't talk to no one. So I was just drawing, you know, my outlet was drawing. You know, I had this little black book and I was just doing all these pictures and writing, you know. Suicidal thoughts was, if I can't talk, if this is me for the rest of my life, how can I even become anything? I really wanted to end it. But, you know, I didn't know how to. Remember, I was just stuck at home. I wouldn't leave home. So, you know, I just didn't know how. That's what I'm trying to say. I haven't got a gun. I didn't have, I weren't going to cut myself in the neck. You know, I wanted to, but I was scared and didn't know how to.
God is real, man.
He is, yeah.
Definitely. God is definitely real.
Definitely.
And a thing about is that I want to know for you as well, since you have you're a walking testament as it pertains to what happens and the changes and everything. But men, they don't normally speak openly about mental health and stuff like that. But is it a problem to not to speak about mental health issues?
I think you need to, I think it's very important, because if you suffer in silence, it will eat you up. It's the same as any sort of anything in life. Okay, if you don't talk about your mental health, all right, you're going to suffer in silence. You're not going to be able to get the help that you need. All right, there's people that are suffering with their sexuality. There's people that are suffering with like just other things. If you keep it inside, it's going to eat you
So
up.
we need to speak
We
about
need
it.
to speak. Yeah,
I believe that as well. I definitely believe in that. We need to speak about mental health issues and so forth. And you mentioned that the changes in your bio, there was a day that the change happened, right? When was this day?
Yeah, there was a day that it changed for me, because all up until that day, um I'd been kidnapped by drug dealers. Yeah, I've been put in the bath. I've been cut in the face. I've been chased down by a police dog. Got police dog bites all up in the side of me here. I kidnapped drug dealers, well, only a couple of times, but it doesn't matter. But I'm just trying to say that life for me was so turbulent. It wasn't stable. Yeah, I'm just trying to bring everything up to that pivotal point. It was so turbulent. Homeless, sofa surfing, on the run from police, having half a haircut one time, going to court because the police arrested me in the barber shop. And, they said, no, you're going to court now.
Wow.
It was up and down, up and down. It was, some really, really bad moments, bad times, And within that time there, I had actually created some good, I'm playing the trombone at the Royal Albert Hall and setting up my own personal training business, getting qualifications, but I just didn't know who I was. And one day I just brought it down. I thought, I can't continue, man. I can't do this no more. I'm just, it's horrible. You see, you can't be in something half-heartedly. That's why I never became a very good criminal, because I was half in it and half out. That's why I didn't really excel in any sort of job I had, because I was half in, half out, So then what is eventually happened, I went to church, and the pastor said to me, "You're saying what you're doing now. He heard a bit about my backstory, and he just said, look, just come and do a testimony." So that's what I did. I went to church one day, and I basically just laid it all out, with no sort of hidden sort of agendas. And my narrative was just be honest, get it all out. And what happened from that day there? There was police it was a big congregation. It was a big congregation that day. He advertised it big without me knowing. I thought, I know.
And what age was this?
So my business been running 2 years, 2 months, April, May, June. Yeah. So this is about what age? I'm 49 now. So 47. Yeah. Okay. I was 47. And anyway, so when I did it, police said, look, set up a CIC. What's a CIC? Community interest company, where you can give back to the community. We need someone like you who's been there, done it, talk to the kids. There was when the brothers there said, look, I'm a website designer. Once you get it set up, I'll do it for free. So many people reached out. It was a very emotional day. I cried. And when a lot of people cried and said, oh, thank you so much. So the people in the congregation, they gave me the incentive and the idea to set my business. And I had to go away and research. I thought, right, what's the CIC? I had to go to Companies House, which is the gov.uk sort of registered company, where if you've got a company, you've got to go to them. Yeah. I had to get 2 directors. I had to get a guarantor, I had to get a company name, and thought, what is that I'm actually going to be doing? I had to do a lot of research, and I'd be honest with you, in the beginning, I thought it ain't going to happen. I thought it wasn't going to happen. But then, through perseverance, through self-belief, through getting rid of ego,
Definitely.
and stop running on my will. I started leaning on God's will, and it all came together. Yeah.
And the name of your company?
Yeah, Metamorphosis, which means change. UYSP, because there's so many. When I looked on the gov.uk website, there's so many companies called Metamorphosis.
Okay.
I thought, man, I got it's such a beautiful. It rolls off. My name's Matty Morris.
Yeah.
And Metamorphosis, it all sort of ties in, and Metamorphosis means change, and I change. So it came to me in the gym. I was working out, and me and my mate came up with the actual name. And then
why that name? Why that name though?
Yeah. Sorry. because it's changed. It's so relevant to my life. I changed, you know. So what I was saying, there's so many companies called Metamorphosis, so I had to add something onto it. So UYSP, if you go into my website, or my email, it's
Definitely.
Metamorphosis UYSP. What's that stand for? Unlocking your superpower, which is the course which I created with one of my directors. And then CIC is Community Interest Company.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what it all stands for.
I get you. But another thing, I did the research on your company. I see that you're doing a great job. Definitely, I see the testaments on it as well, which is very good. But you say unlocking your superpower, right? But do you have a superpower?
Yeah.
You have a superpower?
Yeah, we all do. We all do.
Okay.
Everyone's born with sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
So what's your superpower?
Yeah, it's funny, man, because there's people, when I do it to the kids, they're like, oh, I want to be like Superman, I want to be like Spider-Man. I said, yeah, why not? Why can't you? Why can't you start being a construction guy? You're climbing like ladders, Spider-Man,
Yeah.
Why can't you be Superman? Be a Superman to your mum, to your dad, look after them, or find out what it is, that makes you you. All right, let me break it down. Sorry. Yeah, I get very passionate.
No, it's good, man. It's definitely good. Because when you said that you have a superpower, I didn't know that I have a superpower.
No, of course you do. Yeah.
Well, you're gonna let us know how we go about that.
Yeah. All right. So if you think about who you are, you think about what you're good at, okay, and you really home in on what you're good at, okay. You can then say to yourself, wow, you know what? I'm actually good at drawing, or you know what, I am actually a good swimmer, or I am actually I've got a lot of empathy, yeah, or you know what, I'm very good at listening, yeah. So then you find out, you sort of mold, and you sort of change and metamorphosize into that person which has that ability to become something really, really strong, really powerful in terms of, it could be financial stability, it could be just finding peace, it could be just knowing who you are. So my superpower, is to help people. Simple. Even my missus says I talk too much. I'll be walking down the street in Asda, for instance, and I don't know this person, Adam. I say, oh, you got a lovely hairstyle. Yeah, just put a smile on someone's face. Yeah, that could have saved their day. I could be walking down the road and someone's got a pair of trainers which are like not the greatest, but I say, I love your trainers, man. Where'd you get them from? And you see the smile on their face, and they're looking behind me when I finish talking, they were like smiling. And you understand? So my power, I believe, I've got the ability now to talk to people, to make people feel comfortable around me, help people to listen, and just to, I do. And sometimes I don't realize I'm doing it. Someone even said, my partner said, Matt, he goes, you don't realize what you're doing,
Yeah.
He goes, and I'm not, sorry, I'm not gloating. This ain't gloating. You asked what my superpower is. He goes, when you come in the shop, he goes, and you're just talking to the people, and when you're gone, they ask who you are. He goes, you don't realize how much you have an impact. Oh man, how you have an impact on people. I didn't realize that.
And you explaining this now kind of opened my mind as it pertains to the superpower stuff. So now I can see where you're getting to with the superpower stuff.
Yeah.
But I know that you have a lot of experience and everything, and as it pertains to your experience and your company, how do you feel like they're working together? Your experience and the mission that you're on with your company, is it working together?
Yeah, it is. So my mission, is to educate people to understand who they are and to find their true purpose in life. To really get down, who is Stephen? Yeah, who is Stephanie? Yeah, let's educate you. Let's find your purpose. When you find your purpose, you wake up every day, you got a drive, you got a goal. Yeah, and my vision is to help individuals to unlock their superpower. So now I'm going to answer your question. My lived experience, of life on both sides of the fence, being able to work legally, being able to get qualifications, being able to get jobs when I've got a criminal record in the bank, I've got that self-belief, I've got that self-empowerment, When I was on the little strands left alive and I couldn't talk, I wanted to kill myself, when I didn't trust nobody, had anxiety, I've been through depression and all those sort of traumas there, I've been through prison, so I can reach out to so many different strands of people. So that's why my experience, it's in sync with my actual business, it synchronizes,
Definitely.
right? your superpower is your trait, yeah, or your quality, which you can use to find your peace, yeah. You have it. You know what it is, yeah. You found your peace. You know, you've got a world of accolades, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
You know what it is, all right. You know, same as you know, my mum, you know, and my dad, yeah. They've all got one thing or maybe two things which has made them, you know, very, very happy, and that's their superpower. It hasn't always got to be someone that's flying. Yeah, that's taken to extreme. No one's gonna fly. That's when I say superpower. You know, when I break it down to the children, you know, it's all about knowing your quality. Yeah, to be able to find your peace. So
You say that your mission.
yeah,
What you said about your mission? Your mission is to.
my mission is to empower individuals, educate them to find out who they are, to understand themselves, to find their purpose in life.
Very, very, very impressive, man. I see you. I see the sync with your past, the being on both sides of the fence, and the changes that has actually happened, and not to mention the impact. But do you see the impact with the with those mentoring and those youth hubs and so forth? Have you seen any changes in any?
When I get the feedback forms back from you know, these companies that, you know, I do this course for, you know, when I get the feedback from the kids that I do talks for, when I get feedback from the parents whose children I'm doing the one-to-one peer mentoring for, you know, that's when I know what impact I'm having. You know, it's when they leave that anonymous thank you saved my son. Oh man, you saved my son's life. You know, or thank you, my son talks a lot different now. You know, my daughter has so much more discipline. You know, it's they're the stories that really makes me realize what I'm doing has an impact on the kids. And you know, I remember one time I was ill. You know, I had a death in the family, and I couldn't run the youth hub for about 6 weeks. And I've got a group chat for the kids. You know, on from the youth hub. And then Matty, when's it back? Matty, oh come on, start the youth hub again. So when the kids are crying out for you to, you know, create that safe place for them, and when's it starting again? That's when you know you're having an impact on the community, you know. I'm potentially saving lives, man.
I see. So like in the case whereby you have like different students or kids, I must say, like when if it's a case like one of them come in with like dysregulated or anything like that, how would you approach that specific child on that day?
We've got a safe place, yeah. So it's a soft sort of place, yeah, which is away from everybody else, all right. And I'll sit them down. They'll be like, "Come on, John, talk to me," yeah. And you can never force them. I'm not that. Come on, talk to me. What's going on? What's going on? So just talk to me, and I can see there's something going on. So I'll wait for him, yeah. And when you have that leadership sort of skill, where you have that emotional intelligence, yeah, where you're still able to manage your emotions, yeah, but also manage the child's emotions, okay, all right. You have a bit of empathy, okay, all right. You're able to create that sort of rapport where they trust you. Listen, I'm being real. Oh man, I get so passionate.
No,
I've had mums and teachers come back to me saying, Matty, what he's told you in that hour, he's never told us in the whole time I've known him or in all the years I've taught him. Do you understand? And that's how I know that is my superpower. Yeah. You know what I mean? They will tell me things almost, oh man, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And that one thing they've told me, I can then help the child. Yeah. They've opened up. So answering your question, if they come in dysregulated, I take them to that safe spot.
Yeah.
I say, Tommy, when you're ready, man, talk to me. And I'll sit there. It could take minutes. I sit there and go, no, Matt, you know, I spoke to Spliff. Right, you know, you can't be here. I'm going to have to phone your mum. You know, and we do it properly.
Definitely.
But it builds respect. So,
and you see, emotional intelligence plays a lot. Because I've been in the PRU system as well.
yeah.
And I don't know, because I did a lot of sociology studies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the emotional intelligence part is that I mastered.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a key player when dealing with younger people.
Yeah.
Because you have to understand their emotion, not to mention you have to understand your emotion, and then we have to ensure that we're syncing with the kids' emotion and our emotion just to get the feedback from them. So
that's right.
Definitely. When you mention about emotional intelligence, I say, you know what you're doing, man.
No, thank you.
It's working.
Thank you.
It's definitely working.
Yeah.
But is it a case whereby, like, do you believe that anyone can actually transfer from their past life, even though you've been a testimony to that? But do you believe in
Yeah.
it.
Because one of my employees, he also come from a broken family. Well, he didn't come from. I've come from like a stable family, and this is why it's so important for people to understand. You know, if you get involved in drugs or crime, it doesn't always mean you come from a broken family. You know,
Yeah.
I know some real people in bad places who come from rich, affluent places. So one of my employees for the youth hub, you know, obviously we've done all the DBS checks, and you know, he come from a broken home and he went to prison for selling weed, and you know, his story's out there. You know, he's done podcasts like myself, and I don't hide nothing. Everything's transparent with me. Because when you start to hide, it lowers your integrity, it lowers your credibility. Because when things come out, oh, I didn't know he did this. No, listen, let me tell you from the get-go. This is my story, this is my plateau. I get it all out there. So sorry, answering the question, so I'll go off.
No,
yeah?
that's okay. That's
But I always
okay.
remember the key question, yeah. So he has changed.
Mhm.
Imagine this. So I work for DWP as well, Department for Works and Pensions, yeah.
Okay.
And the course that I created with my director, you know, it is an accredited course, okay. And I don't just teach it to kids, I teach it to professionals. It works on both levels because we're dealing with strengths and weaknesses, we're dealing with relationship types, we're dealing with coping strategies. So that works with kids and adults. So imagine this, Michael was on this course the very first time I did it for DWP, and he liked what I was doing. And when it's a 4-week course, they get certificates for it. He came to me on the certification day, said, Matty, I love what you're doing. Please, can I work for you? I said, you know what? I said, do your DBS check, enhanced, yeah. And when it came back clean, okay. Sorry for those who don't know, DBS is disclosure and barring service. So if you've got a criminal record, it will come up.
Yeah,
if
everyone has to do it. Once you're looking at a job, you have to do that. Definitely.
Yeah, but when it's with kids, it's enhanced. They go through everything. Anytime you're being stopped, the lot, because you can't have anything untoward if you're working with kids. Yeah.
Definitely.
So his came back clean. So answering your question, yes, you know, if you have come from a life of crime or drugs, you can turn it around. You have to believe in yourself. And now he's a paid employee, you know, at the
Very
youth hub,
good.
you know. And from that, he's now gone on to work with, you know, you mentioned in the beginning, Action for Youth, you know, who I've done talks for. We do talks on behalf of them to PRUs, pupil referral units.
Definitely.
So my employee from the youth hub now does talks with them as well. And he also works with Wickham Youth Action in High Wycombe through me. So it just goes to show he's built up his credibility. I respect this guy. He came with just his talk, and now, you know, he's changed his life around, and it's amazing. So answering the question, yes, you can change. Definitely.
Yeah, I believe that anyone can change as well. I definitely believe in that. And saying that, I want to start as it pertains to unlocking my superpower. What are the practical steps that I can make in unlocking my superpower? Just give us a step by step.
Yeah, okay. So you would actually get enrolled into my course, okay?
Okay.
My course has 5 agendas, okay? So like I said before, all right, it's SMART goals, yeah? We do SMART goals, so specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timescale, yeah? I've had people come to me with depression, can't even leave the house, so I'll do a SMART goal for them and say, let's just do it, you know, for just a daily one. See, SMART goals is a tried and tested business model. Yeah, sure. I'm gonna go into.
No, it's okay. I want to know. Definitely, I want to know because I want to unlock my superpower. Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. That's
I want to
beautiful.
know.
Yeah. All right. So it's a tried and tested business model, as you probably know, and businesses use it for, like, you know, long-term goals, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. This particular individual, she was depressed, so let's do daily ones. So let's get a good routine. Yeah. So it's wake up in the morning, open up all your curtains, let some daylight into your house because she had everything closed. Yeah. That's smart. Yeah, that's specific. You can do that, right? Yeah. You know, I said, listen, brush your teeth. Yeah, let's get your self-hygiene back because she would just stay in bed, yeah, wrapped up, right? Let's get up, let's have a shower, brush your teeth. Okay, let's have some breakfast, fuel up your body first. Let's have a coffee, not just coffee and cigarette, but let's get some oats or some sort of, you understand?
Yeah.
So she was so grateful, just a daily one. That was just a specific, it was measurable, it was achievable, it was realistic and timely, so she could do that within 24 hours. Yeah. So unlocking your superpower. So it'd be like, okay, what do you want to be in let's say 12 months? You know? What is your ambition? What is it you want to be in 12 months? I've had people come to me and say, oh, I want to be a photographer. He's got all the equipment, but he wants to set up his own photography thing. So I said, right, so how are you going to you know, accumulate money, you know what I mean, to get all your equipment and to get set up? Because I don't know. So I found out what he's good at. He's good at sales. So, you know, we did a SMART goal to get him involved in sales, 12-month period, build up his money, to have enough money to get a business plan together and all these other bits and pieces, and then you become a photographer. So answering the question, how do you unlock your one? So 5 agendas, SMART goals, okay? Who are you? Okay, as well. You have to know who you are. Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Then we do strengths and weaknesses. It's very, very important for you to understand your strengths, what you're good at, but you have to also be very honest and open about your weaknesses. I'm rubbish at IT. I know I'm no good at all the spreadsheets. And I used to hide. Ego would get in the way. And my missus said, stop hiding, because if you keep hiding, ego will eat you. Yeah. So then what I did, I started to do a few little courses so I can get rid of that fear. How do you get rid of fear and self-doubt? Okay. You have to challenge the negative thoughts that fuel anxiety. Once you challenge it, you're like, it's not that bad after all. People that are scared of spiders, let's challenge it. Is that going to bite you? No. Is it even going to hurt you?
Yeah.
No. Oh, come, let me put it on your, oh yeah. Got rid of it because you've challenged that negative thought. That's what, you know, people don't get. It's all this ego and this all this pride that builds up inside you. All right, let it go. Be honest. So sorry.
No, go ahead, man. It's okay.
So that's another. Yeah. So that's another one. And then we deal with very important self-love. Yeah. All right. Self-love. There's a difference between self-love and cockiness, or how can I put it? Being arrogant is a better word. Okay. Now, when you're arrogant, people don't like that. When you have that arrogant trait, people don't want to be around you, okay? But when you leave the house and you've got self-love and you've got confidence, yeah, you look in the mirror, you do up your hair, you put in your cologne, all right, you put on your clean clothes, you can leave the house and you're back straight. Yeah, that's self-love. Don't leave the house in the mirror and think, oh, I hate you. Oh, you're never going to be nothing, man. Oh, look at your eyes. You know what I mean? You have to, and I say to people, I put a mantra on my mirror. So every morning I look at that mantra, yeah? I look at that man and say, yeah, man, I'm going to attack the day. I'm going to go and get the day. All right. Because if you don't love yourself, and you know, this particular agenda in my course, I say, what's one thing you've been complimented about? What's one physical feature you like about yourself? Do you understand? Just all these, and it's like a validation. Yeah. Do you understand? And another one.
Self-evaluation, man.
Yeah, it is, you know. And another one is we've done strengths and weaknesses, and then coping strategies. That's another one. So when you get down, all right, when you're in a bad place, how do you cope? Yeah, are you going to continue to let your I say to the people I educate, I say, imagine your battery, your phone battery, you charge it, it's 100% now. Yeah, boom. All right, you leave the house, you trip over and you mark up you know, your clean trousers, or your, if you're a girl, your dress. Yeah. So now that could get you down to 100%, 20%. You know, when you don't, there's a mark, you don't feel good. You think, well, other people are going to see that, you know. So how are you going to cope with that? No, no, do you understand? Some people can let a mark, you know, miss at their day. So that could be 80%. All right. And then you get in your car and you're driving, somebody cut you up now. So it goes down to another 60% because you're getting angry. You're allowing it. Yeah. All right. And then by the time you get into work, your battery is almost half full because of what? How do you cope? Yeah. So I say to people, breathing exercises, certain music types, music sounds, you know, pink noise, brown noise, green noise, all different types, you know, the waves, then you've got the raindrops. That could calm me down. Yeah. Me, so I say my one, I said to my Matty, put up the handbrake in life. That's what I do to cope. If someone,
you said put up the handbrake in life. What does that mean?
Oh, wicked, man. So somebody, let me just example. All right, somebody swears at me, yelling at me, in the morning. All right, Matty, put up the handbrake. Thank you. All right, all right. You know what I mean? Think first, and then you put action, and then you go into first gear. Yeah. Often when we don't think, that's when we go into reverse gear. You're going backwards. Yeah. So coping strategies. How do you cope when something gets to you? How do you cope when, you know, there's a death in the family, or, you know, something, you know, someone cuts you up in a car, or, you know, it's very important to know who's got you. You know, who's that family member? Who's that partner? Who's that good friend you can phone at 3 o'clock in the morning? Right? Because I'm part of the NA group. I've got a sponsor. You know, not that I would phone him at 3, but if he see me phone him at 3 and he see my name, he'd pick up because, you know, something's going on. Yeah. I've got 2 good friends in this world that I grew up with. All right, and I know I can phone them at any time. That's my coping strategy. If it's not God first, if I can't pray over it, if you know, is real serious going on, then I know I've got family members. I know I've got my partner, Caroline,
Okay.
beautiful woman inside and out, you know, who's always got me, you know, my brother, my sisters, you know. It's very important as an individual to know who's got you in times, you know, and it hasn't always got to be a physical thing. Like I said, so I really get into this, yeah. It
Go
could just
ahead,
be a
man.
breathing. All right, cool. Put it the handbrake. All right, cool. They're having a bad day, man. All right, cool. Think. He's gonna walk off now. He's gone. All right. First gear. And then, you know, you've dealt with it.
Yeah.
So that, and then how do you then unlock your superpower? By the end of the course, you should then know, all right, who you are. You should then know what you're good at. You should then know what is going to create peace for you. Yeah. What have you unlocked within yourself that you didn't know before? You know what I mean? Is it now that you know that you're a good listener? Is it now that you know that you're creative? You can use your hands. You can now become a barber or maybe a stylist. You know?
Yeah.
So many people, because of peer pressure, because of all this stuff going on the internet, they've lost themselves. You understand? Sometimes you have to ground yourself, you know? Just go to that quiet place, ground yourself, meditate, pray, wherever it might be. Yeah. That's why I say about hobbies. Very important. Find a hobby. Hasn't always got to be a sociable one, but you know, just do you know how beautiful it is just colouring in. At my youth, I get colouring books, and you see the kids sometimes, and they were just lost in their own world and thoughts. And when you talk to them, they're colouring, they're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was your day like? Yeah, man, I had a good day. You know, just colouring. Sorry. Yeah. So by the end of
Definitely.
that course, I've had people bringing cake, you know, bottles of drink, you know, Matty, thank you cards. I've had one particular person, she's passed the course, but she keeps coming back. They allow her because
Yeah.
she loves it. And people like the social part of it, you know, because I'm not that teacher that dictates. Right?
Okay.
Everyone must listen to me. I sit on their level. I've
Yeah.
cried in front of people before. I don't care. Like, I'm a real man's man, but I've cried in front of them because certain subjects that have come up. And
Yeah.
then once, so that's what makes you a good leader, when you can show empathy and sympathy and you can show humility. Like, wow, you know what? He does care for us. I can trust him. You get me? And then
You can relate.
you
Definitely.
can relate, you know? So, yeah, all of that, man, you know, I think it's really beautiful. And like I said, you know, when you get the feedback and you know it's working, you know, yeah.
You're doing a great job, man.
Oh, thank you.
I visit your website, man, and I see the comments, man.
Oh,
You're doing a wonderful job.
yeah.
I'll definitely, your information will also be in the description so persons can actually see, go to the website. Persons living in the area can definitely come to your organization just to unlock their superpowers.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So we'll be sharing that information as well to our viewers.
Yeah.
And another thing as well is that in Jamaica, they will normally say that a village normally grows a child.
Mm.
Do you
I've heard
believe
that
in that?
before. Yeah.
You believe in that?
Yeah. I do.
So what I can say now, let me just make it a bit easier. So what purpose do you think the community serve in young people development today?
It's massive today because if youngsters don't have these safe places to go to, whether it's a football academy, whether it's a youth club, whether it's a, you know, an art and crafts place, whether it's a place where they can just go and feel comfortable, what are they going to do? They're going to go to the street corner. They're then going to go to parks, make fires, smoke weed, get drunk, you know. By having these places in the community, these hubs, these projects, all right, it's giving them a chance to be creative. It's giving them a chance to do something, you know, create teamwork, create, you know, relationships, you know, which is so important. Positive relationships where there's role models now, you know. They're not going to the park and getting groomed by some drug dealer, say, come sell these drugs for me. You know, they're not going to the park and seeing oldies getting drunk and, you know, picking up on bad influences. So by having these things in the community, I think it's imperative. Why? Because it's going to help a child's development. It's going to give them the right tools, the armor of life, yeah, to then say, you know what? No, I'm going to put down this vape now. I've had kids stop vaping, yeah, because I bring in the medical terms and the medical sort of damage it does, and I say you're good. I've got, I can't give names and descriptions. I would never do safeguarding and GDPR, yeah, but no, of course. But I've got two lads. I can say this: they're very, very good at football.
Yeah.
There's so many lads that are good at football, right?
Definitely.
Right. But they're extraordinarily good. Yeah, extraordinarily good. Sorry. All right. Yeah. And they started vaping. I said, hang on a minute. You want to become a good footballer? I said, you want to play for this team, that team? I said, do you think they vape? I said, who's your favorite footballer? Oh, do you think he vape? No. So you got to break it down to him, and then you know what? Stop. Not like that.
Yeah,
It
I
took, you
know
know
it
what I
takes
mean?
a little
It took a
while.
while, but each time we just plant the seed and let it grow. So,
Definitely, I get what you're
yeah.
saying, man. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
You're doing a good job, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
But for you, what does a good community looks like?
Oh, that's a nice one. A good community is a community where they've got a church or they've got somewhere where someone can just, explore their faith. Number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do believe we need a church or a mosque or something in the area, okay, where kids can just go and explore their faith. Number one. You need something in that area where the kids can actually go to and do something, whether it's self-defense, judo class, boxing class, personal training, just to give them some sort of outlet rather than, Mum, got in from school now, can I go on the internet? Mum's like, no, you're going basketball club now, or no, you're going tennis club. To me, a good community is having businesses within that community where kids are allowed to actually go and get involved in something. A good friend of mine, he's been in the business about 15 years. He's just been given a 10-year lease on a building, and he's come to me, loving to bits. He said, right, let's create this as a safe place for kids. We're going to put a studio in there,
Very good.
personal training thing downstairs. We're going to rent it out to, other organizations in the area where they can maybe do arts and crafts. Do you understand? So it's going to be like a community building on different days, maybe parenting courses there. People that can't speak English too good. I think they call it ESOL. Where they can come and do classes there. That's what builds a community, yeah, where there's extra curricular activities that can go on. Yeah,
Definitely, I get you, man. I see your vision, man.
Yeah,
I see your vision.
Yeah,
because I'm a community person as well, man.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
see.
I've done my research on you as well.
Yeah, I see. I see your vision. It's very good.
Yeah.
And this saying comes up when I was doing a check and everything, and I was preparing the documents and everything. Something came up. It says, "From prison to purpose." You get me? And
Paint. Oh yeah.
Definitely, from prison to purpose.
Yeah.
And I see where you have been featured on radios and film. You even perform at the Royal Albert Hall in central London, which is very, very good. I haven't been there yet, but I've heard about that place, man. It's a nice place.
Yeah.
I'll be there soon.
Yeah.
But in these moments, what was these moments like for you?
So when I say to you about karma exists. All right. So when I was doing all this bad stuff, what kept happening? I'm rich for a year, and then all my money gets taken, or I go to prison because I'm doing bad stuff. Yeah. The minute I started to clean up my closet, or we call it clean out your end of the street. Yeah. So I'm no longer harming people. I'm saying things from a good place. I've got good intentions now. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So doors started to open. I've lived all over the country: Birmingham, Oxford, Reading, Derby, Dorset. I've lived in so many places. But imagine this: I'm living in Birmingham, and an Indian guy comes up to me and goes, "Have I ever acted before?" I've acted in prison, and then we did like a short play to like the governors and the officers. We went to the families, and then from that we did a performance at the Royal Academy Theatre in London. So I've done acting before. And I just said to him, yeah. And then from that, he put me in a movie that's on Netflix, called The Mystery of the Tattoo. It's a proper movie, and I acted alongside an Indian Tom Cruise called Arjun Rampal. To us, it means nothing. But when I said to my Indian friends, like, really, you should have got his autograph. He's so. I didn't realize. I just treated him like an everyday person.
Yeah.
But at least I'm acting alongside the big, actor from India. So it's a very good storyline. Very quickly, it's a family that's got superpowers, and I've got a tattoo, and I'm from, funnily enough, the only black person in the movie. I had to be the bad boy, and it's going go and find out, what the tattoo means, and then I get kidnapped, and I got to become a snitch, and they kill me.
They kill me
as well. It's actually quite funny. Oh man! But you know what? It's cool, and it was a lovely environment, good experience. Opened my eyes to a different world. So answering the question, what starts to happen when you do good and you have good intentions, good doors open, so not just that, 4 radio interviews, I've done numerous podcasts, I'm working with prisons where I used to be inside, and I'm going and doing talks to to the boys in there and the men in there, you know, and they're hearing my pain because it's relatable, you know,
Definitely.
but it also gives them a sense of hope and inspiration. Like, wow, if you could do it, you know, and I was in the thick of it, you know, they can do it, you know. So
Right.
yeah, definitely using pain into purpose and prison into purpose and using your past as a positive, you know, because a lot of people seem to think that defines them. A man's not defined on his shortcomings, but he's defined on how he deals with his shortcomings, you know. And that's what brought me back, man. You know, God, my family, you know, all of that. And now I've got good friends around me, you know, real friends. Like I cry, man. I don't care. I say it so many times. I get really emotional. I don't mind, you know, because I'm a real guy. You know, I had fake friends before, friends that just wanted to use me, and you know, because of maybe who I was or what I was involved in or whatever it was. But now I've got friends who are there. You know, I've got a missus who cares and loves me, and loyalty, and you know, just that transparency. We don't hide nothing. You know, my phone will ring any time of the day. My phone's even gone off at 2 a.m. I mean, you know, sleeping with my missus. I won't come out the room. There's no hidden. I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
We've got no hidden secret. She knows it's probably someone reaching out for help.
Definitely.
And them sort of times, you know, do you understand? And all them other relationships, there was some sort of like hidden things or agendas or something toxic. And that's what I say to the kids or anybody. It doesn't matter what age you're at, man. You know, from when you start doing good, from when you start actually having good intentions, have a clean heart, yeah, good things will come into your life. You will, mate, good things will gravitate towards you, yeah. Good things will just magnetize towards you. I went to visit my son in prison on Saturday.
Yeah.
That's another story, yeah. All right, and imagine this. I went up to buy some food, some ice cream, yeah, from the canteen bit, and it was a long queue. So I just got chatting to another gentleman, and imagine he's done the same thing as me. The prison life, the drugs, all that bad boy stuff, and now he's been out of jail 15 years and does what I do, goes to prison, does talks, you know, works with on probation, and we got aligned. See how beautiful that is.
Yeah.
And even
yeah,
he said, "Mate, I
definitely.
can feel something." He goes, "Imagine that." Yeah, and
Yeah.
never would I've woken up this morning thinking I'm going to be in the queue with someone who's the same thing as me, and we can actually create a project. He's from Leicester, and he does
Okay.
amazing things that I can't do, and I do things that he can't do. We've really made a connection. So this is what I'm trying to say to people. You have a clean heart. You wake up, whatever your daily routine is, whether you pray, meditate, or think of a higher power, just leave the house in good spirits.
Good
Say good
spirit.
morning, say hello, big up somebody, and good will come back around. Sorry, man. That's a big thing for me,
No,
man.
it's okay, man.
Yeah.
It's definitely okay. At least you're true with yourself. So it shows the passion that you have for sharing your story and having that impact on young people and stuff like that. So it's definitely okay. This is a platform for it. You're sharing your story.
Yeah.
Hopefully someone can actually listen and get inspired by it. That's the purpose. You get me?
Yeah.
Because you're actually creating a case now whereby you're actually impacting other person's life.
Okay.
You may not know. You may impact someone in Japan on they just be watching this program, someone all over the world. You get me? It's social media. It travels. You get me? And when you come and you can share your story and you can talk about the bad stuff and you can talk about the good stuff and the transformation and everything, we appreciate it, man. Definitely appreciate it.
And you know what I have to say? I feel really honored coming here and meeting you guys and being serious with you, because you know I've got to be very careful when I go into any sort of social media platform because of the work I do. Some of the sensitive people I'm dealing with, and you know that involves prisons and vulnerable kids, and all the rest of it. So I had to do my research on you as well. And when I read about you, and I thought, wow, this guy is serious. I remember I reached out to you. I was going through Instagram. Listen, everyone, get to this guy, man. I was going through Instagram and I saw something called "What's Your Story." I thought, huh? Even that little phrase there, "What's your story?" It's intriguing. Definitely. I went straight in on it, and then I inboxed you, and as a professional, got back to me within a week of us actually being in contact. I'm here now, and I feel really honored to hear about the things you've done in your life as well. So I thought straight away, I went to my director, because when you've got a business like this, you have to before you do any sort of work or anything, even if it's unpaid, you have to consult with your directors. And he looked at it, goes, "Matty, go there, go see him," So I feel honored, seriously. I'm not just saying it because it sounds good. I feel really honored that you've invited me into your lovely studio and we can do this and just try and make an impact to someone.
Definitely. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the fact that you take the time out to be here, man. And the final stage in this "What's Your Story" is that we know that you have plans and everything. So we want to know, what's your next chapter? But before you go there,
Yeah.
all right, Matthew, you have shared so much information here on this platform. I really appreciate it. We want to know as well is that there's supposed to be like a next step, right? Which is the next chapter. And with the next chapter is that we want to know what's the next step for your business.
I'd say next step at the moment is that I want this to become nationwide. I want to be able to get this story out, not because I've done Buckinghamshire, I've done Bedfordshire, I've done a little bit of London, but I want to sort of get Metamorphosis more on the map, where there's branches of individuals who have a lived experience, and it's not just me doing my story. I want to have different stories going up, for Metamorphosis in Liverpool, in Oxford, in Newcastle, Scotland.
Yeah,
That's where I'm building towards, So like I said, all you can do is, step by step, and people talk. Social media is a powerful thing as long as you're doing the right thing.
definitely.
And
Even the wrong thing as well.
well, correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. But to really keep your question, on point, that's where I like my business to sort of grow, to have branches around to help more kids, because they need advocates like me, not me like being arrogant me, but
Yeah.
people with a lived experience to help them not to make the same mistakes. And it will save communities, man. It will save, kids' lives and even adults. I don't just work with kids, I work with adults as well. And oh man,
You're doing a good job, man.
yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I get you. I definitely get you. And if your life was actually a book, what will you title it?
Metamorphosis.
Nothing else.
Not being real, because it's changed.
It's just
No,
changed.
that's beautiful. No,
That's what you'll be working with.
it would. Yeah, I'm going to stick to that always, because it's changed. People think a leopard never changes spots. Well, in the real world, no. But you can. Yeah, we're not leopards. So that's saying to me that's all rubbish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will this young man always be an alcoholic? Well, no. Yeah, he can change. Will this young man always be a criminal? Well, no, because he can change. It's all about implanting that seed to unlock that person's inner thoughts, his self-belief, her self-belief, that they can change. If you are in a bad place, find out what's making you upset, and you can change. I've always said to people, never let anyone say that you can't. Always say that you can.
Definitely. That's nice, man. That's nice. And
Thank
what
you.
legacy do you hope to leave behind?
The legacy I hope to leave behind is to basically make people understand that you can do it. Yeah, you can do it. All right, because you know why a lot of these kids fail. Yeah, because they don't have the right role models, and then they lose their path. I'm telling you, they don't have the right role models in school. Sometimes schools don't what's the word you have multi agencies and they don't signpost them to the right agency.
Okay.
You know how the system so many times is broken. You see it on the news.
Definitely.
They let this man out because by accident, or he didn't have his meds that day and he went and did XYZ.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. From a young age, kids need them role models, whether it's at home or in school, all right, to really know that they can do it. So the legacy I want to leave behind is to let people know that you can do it. Yeah, you can.
That's good, man. Definitely good. And the final question I have for you today, Matthew, is that if every young people truly believe they had a superpower, how different do you think the world would look like?
What if they believed in themselves?
Yes, that they have a superpower.
It'd be a more peaceful world. I'm telling you, it'd be a more peaceful world. Look at now. All right, that's a beautiful question, man. You've got some good questions. I'm not sure if you asked Chat GPT.
We're all over, man.
Yeah. Okay. So just imagine now. Look how the young kids now all carrying weapons. Okay, and they're all advertising. Not all, but a lot of their music taste is violence. It's dark. It's got that frequency, yeah, which makes them just want to go and do bad stuff. All right. Now they're following a crowd, yeah. All right. Now imagine now if every kid in every household believes they had a superpower, they wouldn't be walking through with knives. They wouldn't going up selling drugs. They'd be like, Dad, I'm going to be a doctor. Or Dad, I'm going to be a builder. No matter how small or how big. Mum, I want to go and be a barber. I've got a superpower. Rather than, Mum, I'm going out to the shop and they're getting drunk. Or Mum, back in a minute and they're going to buy weed. Because they haven't got that superpower. Imagine if every child, just on this street alone, imagine if every child on this street alone, all right, believed they had a superpower. Let's just think, right? On your normal street viewers, right? If every child had a superpower, all right, how more peaceful would that be? Your household be? Yeah? How much more peaceful would it be knowing they're going to school because they believe they're going to be a dentist or a graphic designer? And they're coming home and they might do a bit more extra homework and then they go out, but they still got that purpose, they've got that ambition, they've got that drive. It would be crime rates would lower, alcoholism would lower, weed dealers would probably, cocaine dealers would probably thinking, where's everybody gone? But people don't want to do drugs and get high if they've got an ambition, really, like
Definitely.
truly, they want to really build up their foundations, So imagine if you've got a lost child, they then become a lost teenager, a lost adult, lost in the system. Okay, I think you should teach kids from preschool about emotional intelligence and about teamwork, and from that age there, they can then grow into a more successful and peaceful adult.
Definitely, man. I appreciate it, man. Really appreciate this conversation today.
Thank you,
Matthew.
man.
I really appreciate it,
You
man.
too. Thanks for having me.
It's glad that you came in just to share your story with us as well. We appreciate it. And we will meet again.
Oh, definitely.
I'm gonna come by as well to visit your organization.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Yeah, we're gonna come
beautiful.
by. Yeah, we're gonna come by because we believe in community development, and once it has to do with youths, I'm 100% with that, man. No matter where I'm in the world, no matter where I'm in the world, once it's actually to do with community development and youth, I'll be a part of it, man.
Thank you so much.
I'll definitely. But is there anything that you want to share with the viewers? Where can they locate your organization?
Well, it's not that sort of, haven't actually got like a head office, because I'm more like out in the community. So the youth hub is Elmhurst youth hub. It's down by Dunsham Lane. Obviously the one-to-one peer mentoring, people need to email me or they need to phone me. All right.
Now, what's the email address that they can email you at?
The email address is matty@metamorphosis UYSP.com. Or you can look at my website, which is www.metamorphosis-UYSP.com. All right, you can and my phone number is already my phone number, or will that be in the link? My phone number and details.
Okay, it will actually be in the description as well for the viewers, so they will see all that information.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right. So, is there anything else that you want to share with the viewers today? Any message you want to leave or anything?
The only message I will say, all right, as a parent, any parent that's watching this, okay, please listen to your child. All right, that is the most important thing. Okay, that children a lot of the time they're getting dictated to. All right, oh, you must do this, you must do that, and they sort of get shunned. All right. Listen to your child, sit down with them, just spend a bit of time and really understand who they are and what they want, because what will happen, they'll find another role model, and that role model could be the bad one, or if you are an adult, okay, and you're suffering, don't suffer in silence. There's people out there, it hasn't got to be me, not everyone can, that's the thing, I'm not amazing, I'm not perfect, I only will align with certain people, but if you're an adult and you're suffering, don't suffer in silence, you go and seek for help. It's out there.
All right. So Matthew said it all. Mr. Matthew Morris, he said it all. There's so much he could say today, but he's a busy man as well. He's out serving the community, helping young people. So I want for you guys to just listen to his message, and no problem to go ahead and visit his website as well, seeing the great work that he's doing as well. I'll be visiting his location as well. And thank you so much, Mr. Morris.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining What's Your Story today.
No problem. Take care.
All right.
All right.